welcome to The Build-Up. This is the show that gives you everything you need to know before the big game kicks off. We're back at Pride Park today for a rare Sunday afternoon fixture. Derby County welcoming Sheffield Wednesday. These clubs have had plenty of notable encounters through the years. The last time they met was 18 months ago at Hillsborough. Derby missing out on the playoff place thanks to a controversial red card for Curtis Davies just before half-time. Wednesday went on to win promotion with an extra-time winner at Wembley that season. And it's only 3 years ago that Derby stayed up at Wednesday's expense on the final day of the 2020-21 Championship season with that thrilling 3-3 draw inside an eerie and empty Pride Park. Bringing things back to the present, Derby come into this one off the back of Wednesday's defeat to Swansea. It's just 1 win in 8 for the Rams now and 3 without a victory here at home. Sheffield Wednesday got the better of Hull in midweek. Josh Windass and Michael Smith getting the goals in that one. Plenty was expected of the visitors this season after the incredible job that Danny Roll did when he arrived in October last year. He somehow kept Wednesday in the Championship after a terrible start that saw them pick up just 3 points from their opening 13 games. But a run of only 3 defeats in their final 14 matches saw them stay up on the final day of the season. Well, this is the final game of the weekend in the Championship. The action started on Friday with Sheffield United beating Sunderland to go top of the table. Yesterday was a pretty decent day for Derby, to be honest. None of the 9 teams below them won. Another big defeat for Plymouth at Bristol City, while Norwich put 4 past Luton as well. And Frank Lampard got a point in his first match as Coventry boss, a late penalty required to draw with Cardiff. And we'll show you what all that means for the table a little later. First, if Craig Forsyth is selected today, it'll be the 13th time that he'll have faced Sheffield Wednesday for Derby County. And Fozzie passed another milestone in the week, taking sole possession of 19th on Derby's all-time appearances list.
It's something that's obviously massively proud to make that many appearances for this football club, but it's probably something you don't really sit back until after you finish, like I've said before, and sit back and appreciate what you've achieved and what you've done. But yeah, delighted to be there, but hopefully there's more to come.
I know we talk about it a lot and I ask you about it all the time. Have you ever sat down and looked at the list and seen the names and thought about where you might end up?
I did. Luxie mentioned it to me the other night, so I did sit and have a look the other night, and some of the names on there are unbelievable names. So to be around those names with the same number of games is something. But some of them in that list have achieved some things that I'll never be able to achieve here.
When we talk about what players want to achieve from a career when they're coming through the ranks, starting out, I guess they would never think, I want to play X number of games or X number of games for any club. Was that ever on your sort of radar? No,
I think growing up as a young boy, you just want to make one appearance is probably enough to achieve people's dreams. So to go on and play so many games for this football club and other football clubs is something I'm massively proud of.
You've had a lot of teammates through the years, a lot of competition in your position that you've seen off in one way or another. You'll go up against someone that you played with, Max Lowe, at the weekend. Just wanted to see any memories of him in particular, because he was a young man when
yeah, Max coming through was obviously one of the very highly regarded in the academy. I remember he was always away with England when he was really young, and then stepped up to the first team, and me and Max actually did a full rehab together. Basically, he was out with I think it was a hamstring, and I was one of my knees. So we spent a lot of time together doing that rehab, and yeah, he's gone on to have a really good career as well.
Do you take pride in seeing players, teammates, especially in your position, go on and have the sort of career that he's having?
Yeah, I think obviously it's down to the individual really. I think Max's career, the way it's gone, is down to him and his hard work and what he's dedicated to his career. So if I've helped him along the way in some way, then yeah, I'm happy with that. But his career is down to his hard work.
Sheffield Wednesday visit Pride Park on Sunday. You faced them 12 times already for Derby, including a couple of notable games. That final day of the 2020-21 season, 3-3 to stay up. Is that up there as one of the crazier days in your time at Derby?
It's definitely probably up there as my worst ever performance, I would say that. But yeah, it's certainly a crazy day, and at the end of it, we got what we needed to do. So it was more a relief than anything at the end of that game.
How often do you look back and think back about sort of big games in your career? Because you are getting, the latter stages of it.
Yeah, sometimes it can be going back to a stadium, like when I went back to Preston, obviously, last week, and somebody said to me about scoring there, and that was a big goal for me, obviously, just after the birth of my first daughter. So it's probably going back to stadiums. You think about games you've played there and things you've done.
How important is Sunday for you back at Pride Park?
Yeah, it is. It's very important after the disappointment of Wednesday night and getting back on that winning trail at home. Obviously, defeat to Swansea and draw with Plymouth. Not two results that we wanted, but we've got a chance to put it right on Sunday and pick up that momentum again.
That's Derby stalwart Craig Forsyth. Here's how the Championship table looks ahead of today's final game of the weekend. Sheffield United atop after their win on Friday, and a surprise defeat for Leeds at Blackburn yesterday. Middlesbrough, meanwhile, climbed to 5th. A win for either Sheffield Wednesday or Derby today would take them up into the top half of the table. The Owls start the day 2 points above the Rams, who are 5 clear of the relegation zone. Portsmouth bottom, but with 2 games in hand. It's getting on for 2 months now since Derby's last win here at Pride Park Stadium. They've taken just 2 points from a possible 9 in their previous 3 games, including Wednesday night's defeat to Swansea here. But head coach Paul Warne says there was still plenty to be positive about in that performance.
I take encouragement from a lot and then hard on myself for a lot. So I think I'm pleased with the lads' character to start poorly. Collectively, and then to come back. So I take, not that that's a stat, it's just a feeling on the side of the pitch. I know roughly, you can tell obviously by the noise of the stadium as well. I'm not like deaf, but I can tell when the lads are playing well and that I've had my eyes shut, but I can see it, I can feel it. So I'm not a massive stat man, but I do also, the little things that I like are how many times we have touches in the opposition box, because, and how many times you have attempts on goal from the opposition's box, and how many times you concede chances in your box. They're the things that I like. So, for example, I think we conceded maybe 2 attempts inside the box, which they scored from, and we probably had, I know we had 18, but realistically we probably had 4 or 5. So in that instance, I think we did quite well. So I'm pleased on that. I'm just frustrated that we wasted, a small portion of the start of the game, which ended up being final to the result, really. That's my disappointment. But then I leave the ground, and I said it at the time, and I know everything I say is Marmite at times, but I was really proud how the lads played. They were a bit more on the front foot, a bit more aggressive, a bit more touch tight, and that's how I like my teams to play. So, yeah, so I'm not bothered about possession. That's an absolute bore off. That was a stat from 5 years ago that someone got a job for finding. And then, but I do like touches in the opposition boxes, and I do, obviously, because I watch the game back for the entirety, I just like to see if, we're creating problems.
You faced Sheffield Wednesday as often as any other club as a manager. The last time was the final day of the 2022-23 season. How much did that one sting for?
Yeah, it's pretty brutal, really. I'm a big believer in positive thinking, and what sort of happens to you is what you think is going to happen to you, if that makes sense. I've always been really upbeat on my mindset, and I honestly believe that season that we would go up. And I honestly thought if we got into the playoffs, the dressing room I had were the personalities that would thrive in that environment. So when we went to the Sheffield Wednesday game, I had, and I'm glad I had no doubt, because that meant I slept the night before. Went in that game with no doubt. Really, the lads were brilliant training that week, were fully focused, and sometimes you just get a feel that you can't put into words. You just get, this is going to be something good, and we're on the edge of something amazing. And then the way the game panned out, and that's how football is, and that's why everyone likes it, and that's why everyone turns up, because you just don't know what you're going to get. So yeah, that stung. And obviously, I remember driving home, and it felt like a home game, so I can get home quicker than I can from Derby, or ironically, probably even from Rotherham. So. Yeah, so it stung big time. But then weirdly, it ignites your whole, right, let's change what we think we need to change in the summer. What can we possibly do to try and, with our remit, what can we possibly do to improve the team and make him a force in League One? So, yeah, so we've had some good battles over the years, and obviously the COVID games and all that. And obviously I know a lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans.
That's Paul Warne, and this has been the build-up. We're expecting a big crowd here at Pride Park Stadium this afternoon for Derby County against Sheffield Wednesday. And you can watch the action on RamsTV. We're available worldwide outside the UK this afternoon. So get your Game Pass now at dcfc.co.uk. We'll see you at 2:30 for Matchday Live. Until then, goodbye.